Hello everyone, today working on a very special project, the old truck. Now some of you will remember that this is the truck I started in last season, and halfway through, all of a sudden out of nowhere I posted and had a new truck. Well, what happened is this one, the head gasket went bad, and when I say it went bad, it went real bad. I let it go way too long. So in an effort to salvage it, I went ahead and got in here, changed it all out. Head gasket went smooth, but when I was putting the engine back together, the heater, it's the heater hose connector, the quick connector in these old GMs are absolute trash, garbage, nonsense, worthlessness, and that snapped. It literally, I'm talking like, when I went to twist it, it went, and I moved it not even an inch. So that snaps, and when it snapped, the threads are obviously, because of the heat and the brittle crappy metal that it's made out of, are binded to the intake, so it's utterly, completely worthless. Cannot drive it, cannot put a new connector in until I tap out this hole, which is what I'm going to try to do today. Try to get that fixed and start basically continuing the process of putting this engine back together. Whenever I started with this, changing the head gasket, my goal was to change the head gasket, rebuild the throttle body, so new seals, new injectors, new everything for the throttle body. What else was I changing out? New hoses, the radiator's brand new, so just everything in here would have been basically brand spanking new. But when that hose snapped at that point, I was just kind of like, you know, I've been spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars a week trying to maintain this thing for a few months at that point, and it was just like one thing after another, breakdown after breakdown after breakdown, overheating, this, that, and the other. So at that point I was just tired of it, and that's when I got the new truck. So still going to be driving that one, but I would like to get this one running, because if it runs and it runs well, I would like to use it and expand the business. Even if it's lawn care or not, but there's another little project I would like to start if this goes well. I'm doubtful, but you know, if it is a success, then I will be expanding my business into something else that I don't want to talk about right now, but because that's not what this video is. But we'll see how this goes. Got the new connector, 1/2-inch thread, and the thing that I am working on is going to be way back here, this little guy. So basically those threads, they may look okay, but they're still binded up with the old metal, and this new connector won't work, so I'm having to redo that, and it's obviously a very tight space and it's just a pain to work on. But let's see if we can get this thing working. It's going pretty well so far, so the threads are coming clean. I still have to go a little bit further, but you can see here, if you ever have to do this, let me just set this down right here. If you ever have to do this, put some grease on there and it'll catch any metal shavings so that they don't fall down into the intake. And so you get a ton of stuff that was just caked on there. These little red chips like this, that's from the old fitting. It's basically like seized into the little hole there, but got a little bit further to go, but it's going pretty well. Alright, there it is, guys. Completely threaded, fits really good. It's not rough at all. That is exciting. I've got to tighten it down a little bit, but it is good to go. So then this hose will go in there, and then all this other stuff will go back together, and hopefully we'll have a running truck. Alright, this is the throttle body, all taken apart. There's all the seals and gaskets and 2 new fuel injectors, and we're going to put it all back together. So we are almost done with this truck. Let's take a look at it here. So I have everything pretty much plugged in. I've got to ground that. Got to rewire the one that goes in the back of the alternator, because whenever I was taking it apart last year, that little wire snapped. It was old. What else do I got? Got 2 more spark plugs to change. And this little assembly, I've got to find the clips that go on here because it fell down there, and I got to find it and put it all back together. And then we put the air filter back on and hook the battery up and attempt to fire it up and see what happens. Alright, so we're all put back together now. Hopefully everything is looking right. All that's left now is to connect the battery, bleed out the coolant system, and that's if everything's running properly. And yeah, I'm going to hook this thing up and see what happens. Okay, so I've got the truck running now, and believe it or not, I'm going to show you here in a second, but believe it or not, it does actually sound better than it sounded before, but it still sounds like it's still got this like tap 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 in the back. And I don't know if it's I don't know if this is engine knock. It doesn't sound like quite severe, or just rocker valve. I don't know what's going on here with this, or if it's just because it's sat for 6 months and the oil hasn't gotten all the way through the engine yet. I don't know, but you know, it literally sat for 6 months with no oil in it, and that was stupid of me. But yeah, it sat all that time with no oil in it, so I don't know if it just, the oil hasn't circulated through yet. So I'm going to show you this sound so you can hear what it sounds like, and you tell me what you think. Like I say, it actually does feel a whole lot smoother than it did before I did all this stuff. Yeah, I'm going to play this, see if we can hopefully pick it up. Hopefully it's not too loud, but here we go. Alright, so there it is. The old truck is in fact running, and again, like I say, it is running a lot better than it was before I went and did all the work to it, but still not quite right. Let me know what you think those sounds are. I'm pretty sure it's just knocking because of the way the engine was before, because it was really bad before when I left it. But like I say, then again, it could just be that there's no oil circulating yet because it sat for so long. But anyway, I'll keep playing around with it and see what happens, but at least it's together now. Like before, I mean, I still have crap here in the seat, but before, like, this whole cabin was just filled with like all the internals of the engine, and like I just, whenever I left it, I was just so fed up with it that I couldn't stand it. But yeah, I mean, everything is back together at the very least. So at least if I decided to scrap it, I could scrap it as, or if I decided to sell it, I could sell it as a complete put together car that just isn't running right. So who knows. Let me know what you think. We'll see what we do with it.